Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Unstoppable. Today we have Danny Mizrahi, CEO of Contango IT.
How we doing?
What is happening, my man?
Doing well, man. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm breathing. I'm blessed.
I'm very happy to have you here. Very happy to have you here. It's been quite a year of us doing Zoom calls. It's nice to see each other face to face and actually hang out and get to chat a little.
For sure. Happy to be here, man. Appreciate you having me.
Tell me a little bit, high level, Contango IT, what do you guys do?
So we're 75 people, now up to about 78 people. Very blessed. During COVID, we've fortunately haven't had to lay anyone off, haven't had to decrease salaries, and since then we are now up 3 people. So we have 4 departments: day-to-day IT support, everything from outsourced CTO services all the way to help desk. We're a technology consulting company. We do wiring. We do about $1 million a year in wiring, low voltage wiring in Manhattan, union, non-union. And we have 40 people in cybersecurity. So we're a qualified security assessor, world lottery auditor, SWIFT assessor. We do a lot of ISO audits, SOC 2 audits. So cybersecurity is pretty hot right now. Compliance is the name of the game in cyber. And so we're busy. We're busy and blessed.
It's becoming it is a very, very real concern for a lot of businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Cybersecurity is just becoming one of those things where it used to be if you were a huge company, you had to be compliant. If you were American Express, you had to worry. But now even companies like Qualcomm, it's something that is very real, something we have to worry about. And I'm sure you see very often that even small companies have all these issues that they have to be concerned about, like ransomware, whatever. I mean, as a small business, those concerns are very real, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, we see it from everywhere. I mean, we've seen the bookkeeper who calls, quote unquote Canon support in the middle of the night. They Google Canon support. And then the first number that comes up, they call, and then next thing you know, their computer's locked down. And, we've seen click on this, click on that, people giving away their passwords. We do dark web monitoring, so it's always fun when I do one-on-ones and calls with prospects and clients. I always pull up their dark web report. And the last one, I was like, so who's Adriana? And he's like, how do you know Adriana? I was like, well, stop using that as your password. He's like, that's my wife. I always use that as my password. I was like, you can't use that as a password anymore. So that's that, right? So it's amazing what's out there.
All that information, for people that don't know the dark web, right? Tell me a little bit about the dark web, because all that information it's available. I've seen it. I mean, it comes up and exactly what your passwords are. You know that.
Yeah.
So what is the dark web for people that don't understand?
I mean, that might be a little over my head technically. Okay. I'm not the brains behind the operation of the mouth, right? But
tell me about a dark web search, right? What you were just talking about. I mean,
well, my company owns a product that when we put in someone's domain, we can get their dark web results, and then for all of our clients, we monitor the dark web to make sure if something new pops up, they're going to know about it. So that's pretty much it. What the actual dark web is, if I told you, I'd have to kill you,
Yeah, no, but totally. But when you do a dark web search, right, things that come up are personal information, personal passwords, accounts you have, it's there, and it's a pretty simple search. The software you have is not
that's
crazy
the thing with ransomware, right? So you brought up ransomware. So you don't have to be a hacker to be a hacker anymore. You just need to buy some tools, right? So it's a lot different now. You don't have to study hacking. You could just buy a tool, run a bot, hopefully someone hits it, and then say, okay, now give me a Bitcoin, and I'll give you your files back.
Yeah,
right?
and for the people that don't understand ransomware, right? And this is a very real concern for even small businesses. You click something, you're baited into something, whatever it might be, and now all of a sudden someone somewhere controls your entire company. They control all your files, they control your server, they control everything, and they say, okay, I want X amount of Bitcoin or X amount of dollars or whatever it is to get it back. And it could be several $1,000s. It could be whatever it is, right? But now you're faced with a dilemma of my business is shut down and what do I do, right? Sometimes it's you take out a credit card or you take out whatever and you actually pay for it, right?
What's good IT, right? So good IT is your files get locked. And this has happened to our clients because no matter how good you are, people click on stupid stuff, right? So, the files get locked, they get encrypted. A good IT is you delete the files, you restore from the backup, and you move on with your life, right? That's good IT because there's ways to make sure it doesn't spread, this, that, and the other thing, right? Unfortunately, we get the call a lot of time when they say the backup didn't work. Not from our clients, thank God. But sometimes they say the backup didn't work, right? And we say, all right, so here's what you do, right? This and believe it or not, these hackers, we can call them for lack of better terms, they have a reputation. and they actually do give you the files when you give them the money. So usually they ask for a Bitcoin. When they do that, you say, we'll give you half a Bitcoin. They say, deal. And we've been through this a lot. Most companies, by the way, they go through their insurance and they open up a claim and this, that, and the other thing. But some companies are like, it's going too slow. And I like the idea of going through insurance, and I definitely like the idea of having a cyber insurance policy. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's a little too slow. And by the way, the premium or the premium would be like $5,000, or the deductible, right, would be like $5,000 anyway. So half a Bitcoin could be $2,500, could be $3,000, depending on it. So you offer them that. They show you that they can decrypt one of the files, and then you give them the money, and usually you get the files. Yeah. I mean, believe it or not, it usually works. We've seen
usually, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen a situation where they haven't.
All right, that's good. That's good. Right. I've actually seen a situation, and listen, you obviously are in this way more than I am, but where people actually pay, right? But then what happens is they know you're going to pay, and they may hit you again.
I have not seen that.
Okay,
I have not seen that because. I don't know. I guess it's.
Listen, maybe I hear war stories.
I believe it.
I hear war stories, right? I'm not in the business. I hear war stories and I hear hearsay, but like I've just heard that's a potential issue.
I had a VIP come to me and say, "I did something really bad. I need your help." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And obviously, I can't say what it is. But on Instagram, a woman who looked very good was, DMing him, direct messaging him naked pictures of herself. So he started doing it back. And it wasn't anyone. It wasn't a woman. It was just someone that said, okay, now I have these naked pictures of you. I know your entire network on LinkedIn. I'm going to reach out to every single person and send it unless you send me some money. Oops. That one, I said, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. I got nothing for you. I mean, you can pay them.
They're still going to have
But I would imagine this is not going to end good. Well, right. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. But I've seen some bad situations.
Listen, the internet's forever, right? So like people don't understand that that what they're dealing with is very real, and some people don't even understand how important it is that their files are. Right. For me in my world, right, there's your lawyer, there's your accountant, and there's your IT professional. Right.
Exactly.
Like, those are the.
Well, I will say so like. United States and different states and GDP, European Union, they've all come out with these different kinds of acts. They're called privacy acts. In New York, it's called SHIELD, the SHIELD Act. California, it's called California Consumer Protection Act. In Europe, it's called the General Data Protection Regulation. So these acts are meant for people to start taking cybersecurity seriously. And that's why, I do a lot of speaking on IT best practices, cybersecurity 101. Every single one of these different compliance requirements that are getting more and more popular, everything from HIPAA to ISO to SOC to, and by the way, you probably have clients. If you pick up a client like a Wells Fargo or someone that you're doing work with, and anyone in compliance, they have their own compliance requirements, they're going to send you something called a vendor requirement letter or a third-party compliance checklist, and all of those have the same common denominators. So what are those common denominators? The first one is, it's called end user security awareness training, right? That's what we're talking about here. So just to bring it back in, right? So watching videos on spoofing, watching videos on phishing, watching videos on how to tell what's a fake website from a real website, a fake email from a real email, watching these videos, making them take the tests. And then a company like ours, we have a program where we do it all year round. And then we report to the C-suite and say, hey, these are the people that keep clicking on stuff. They need extra attention, and they need a stern talking to, right? That, the other thing I would say is, and if there's anything to take away from a IT-based podcast or whatever we're talking about here, is two-factor authentication. So, I mean, I talked to a company yesterday. They're in video production, will remain nameless, and they still don't have two-factor authentication set up. Not you guys, obviously, but they don't have two-factor authentication set up. And when I got on the phone with them, they basically said, we have no interest. It's too hard to manage. Yeah. We won't even take a client at this point that doesn't have two-factor authentication set up. It's the easiest way to get in. And when you go to the dark web and you see all these passwords listed, and I'll tell you a good story, and maybe this is a TMI, too much information, but we had a client email us, and a famous pornography website got hacked. So this is a true story, okay? And this happened a lot. You might have read about it. Other people, people listening, watching, you probably read about it, heard about it. So this famous pornography website got hacked. And so what they did was very smart. So they took the email address and the password, and they sent it to that person's email, and they said, we know your email password and your email and your password for your email. We downloaded your contacts. That part's the not true part, but what they're doing is they're playing the odds. Most people use the same password everywhere, right? Yep. So, which please don't do that. So we know your email password. We know your password in your email. We have your contacts. And also, by the way, we know that you've been watching videos on this website, and you also have a login for this website. And we have videos of you doing things that when we hacked into your camera. Also, the not true part, right? So the not true part is the camera part, and the not true part is they didn't even try to go into this person's email, right? However, they're banking on those odds of it being the same. So he emailed us and said, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I was like, well, is that your email password? And he was like, no. I was like, so that's the game. Yeah. So you're lucky that you have a different password everywhere. So certainly change your email password. And we can see if someone came in and took your contacts. That's auditable. There's a trail for that. So it wasn't this case. But imagine the person that says, I don't have an IT person. I don't have a trusted advisor. How much do you want?
Yep.
Right? And that could be never ending, like the Instagram story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and you hear the stories so much, and I think that every single one of us at one point or another has had some sort of level of phishing or hacking or this or that, and it's just something you have to be very conscious of and very real of. Let's talk about something else that I know that you're big on, and well, first of all, let's talk about workplace culture, right? Because I know it's a big thing. I know you're big on happiness in the workplace, and tell me a little bit about how you've built such a big team and what kind of culture that you instill in your business.
Well, culture is everything. I mean, the saying, if you don't say company culture so much to the point where everyone in your company is sick of you talking about company culture, then you're not saying it enough, right? So you got to keep talking about company culture. We certainly have our core values, our mission, our purpose, our vision, etc. Our core values mean everything to us. The first one is to stay in contango. Contango is a commodities expression. It means the future is higher than the present. That's what we strive for, constant improvement. We want all of our friends, our family, blah, 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 to be in contango, to stay in improvement. And that's everywhere in my life and everywhere in my employees' lives and my clients' lives. Part of our purpose as an IT company is not just to help people have good IT. Yeah, of course we want them to have good IT, but every IT company could say that. But we want to help our clients grow because we want them in contango, our first core value. When we do employee reviews, the first 6 questions on the employee review are the core values. They grade themselves on the core values. We grade them on the core values. At Friday morning huddle, we have a whole company huddle every Friday morning for an hour and a half. At the end of it, we shout someone out. This person's, one of our core values is we are professionals. How we look, how we act, how we speak. We take the high road, never burn bridges, early is on time is late is forgotten, right? So that's one of our core values. So when someone was, early to an appointment and someone said, I love working with so-and-so because he or she is so professional, shout them out. Hey, you do the We Are Professionals core value Friday morning because, you earned it and, you did a great job on XYZ. So we're constantly integrating on the hiring process. We're trying to ask questions to find out. It's hard to say, are you professional? Yeah. Right? But you could ask questions like, tell me about a time where you were professional or more importantly, tell me about a time where you felt like someone around you was being unprofessional. Right? Or what we do a lot of, because professional ties into manners often, for our third interview, we almost always do a social interview where we bring the candidate out with a couple team members, go out for sometimes a drink. We used to say our third interview was at a bar. I'm not allowed to say bar anymore for HR reasons because someone didn't drink and he thought that wasn't why he got the job and blah, blah, blah. So we go to a restaurant down the block and we're looking for please and thank you. We're looking for manners. We're looking for certainly if they get too drunk, it's a problem, typically. Yeah. But again, the interview process should open up those core values for sure.
I feel like that makes so much sense, and it's such like a simple thing and isn't done often enough. Like too many times interviews are first interview in a conference room, second interview in a conference room, third interview, slightly different questions, but in a conference room.
Yeah, I mean, we use the Who method. It's the book. There's a book called Who. It's the A method of hiring, and that methodology of hiring, covers all this stuff. Yeah. It's an amazing methodology of hiring. We use it pretty much front to back. A lot of scorecards. The other thing that people don't do in the interview process, besides the social interview and trying to get those feels, is they don't really put them through a test of the job. Yeah. I mean, it's usually like, have you done this? Oh, you've done this? Great, And it's like, well, why not take that extra step to put them through a boot camp? A 2-hour boot camp. This is how you'd have to do this. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. And what happens then is we're hiring people that are experts at their jobs. Yep. Instead of we love training people, but we don't want to. We want to hire people that are experts at the jobs. Frankly, every single person that I've hired recently teaches me more about the job than I teach them. Yeah. That's
You
what
got to
we
hire
want.
people around you that are smarter than you are, right?
Yeah, that's easy for me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. One of the things that we do here is, every time we're going to hire a new site super, or new PM, we take out a set of plans, right?
Yeah.
And we take out a set of plans and ask them about a scenario that we might not have done well, right?
Yeah.
Something that might not have gone
Sure.
well, and we say, what would you have done in this scenario? And we want to hear that they would do it better than we did, right?
Sure. Yeah,
like we screwed up, we messed up. Like,
do it.
how would you have handled this
Oh, yeah.
if this was X, Y, and Z? And we always kind of look for that feedback, and we are always pleased when we hear something that says, "Hey, I would have surveyed this, or I would have done this, or I would have done this differently."
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's like a breath of fresh air. Like,
Right.
we want this guy, right?
Yeah.
Because we know in this particular scenario, they definitely would have made us better.
Oh, yeah.
You
Well,
know?
we have a philosophy: get to the client before they get to us on everything, being one step ahead. But one of those things is mistakes, right? So when we made a mistake, everyone on my team, and if they don't do it, they know it's a problem. Everyone on my team knows if something was done wrong. We use, oh man, I probably shouldn't say this on a TV, but we called it like the Carmelo Anthony thing back in the day. Right now, I love Carmelo because, unfortunately the Knicks have been that bad. But back in the day, we used to call it like the Carmelo thing. If he misses a shot, he wouldn't get back on D and he wouldn't go for the rebound, right? So, it's called compounding mistakes, right? And so my team knows if anyone needs a mistake, they would come over and, sorry, Mello, if you're listening. Melo's a good friend. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But my point is, if they come to me for the mistake, I go straight to the client and I say, hey, I heard my guys made a mistake. This is what happened. This is what we're going to do about it. And I always get the same reply. I was just about to call you. You're on top of it. I don't care, man. Great job. Thanks for taking care of it.
Yeah.
It's always the same thing. I know you guys are on top of it. You'll do your best.
Yeah.
As long as I get to them first.
Yeah.
I just don't want that call. Do you know the mistake that your guys made? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, guys.
And the last thing you ever want to do is be like, I didn't hear about that. Let me go figure it out. Like, you're not paying attention.
I don't want that.
Let me go figure it out, and I'll get back to you. And that sucks.
Some things are benign. Yeah. They're not real mistakes, so my guys didn't bring it to me. But, some of those things I need to know about.
And you can't catch everything, right?
No.
You just can't catch everything. So it happens. But if you're on the ball and you're ahead of it 90% of the time, it's definitely going to make you a better company.
Yeah, you just got to get to the client before they get to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all they want is to know that you're one step ahead of them, and that's in our core values.
It's a great philosophy. It's a great philosophy. So what is the next 5 years, 10 years? What does it look for Danny?
For me, I mean, just doing more of what we're doing. I mean, we're looking for acquisitions,
Okay.
Small IT companies that we can roll in. I mean, the cybersecurity compliance side of the business is hot, and compliance is not going anywhere anytime soon. So we love that our differentiator on our managed IT offering, we call it Contango Unlimited Security Plus, has all these cybersecurity components to it. We think it's a huge differentiator between us and similar-sized IT companies. But compliance isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's getting more complex. If anyone got funding, boom, compliance issue. Working with big clients, boom, compliance issue. You're working with the government, boom, compliance issues. So, and then New York has a SHIELD Act. I mean, I guess no one's really taking it seriously yet because no one's getting fined. But technically, any $5 million business in New York has to be SHIELD compliant or they get, in trouble. So I think that's going to pick up. New York needs to make some money. So that I think it's going to be one of the ways they make some money. So compliance is hot. Day-to-day IT support is still there. It's our bread and butter. We love it. We love taking care of businesses, everything from the CTO to the 60 to 90-second response time help desk. And in that area, we definitely want to acquire companies and grow through acquisition and then just keep growing. The blessing and the curse is we are 100% word of mouth, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. 100% word of mouth, no marketing, no advertising. It gets a little frustrating as an entrepreneur who wants to scale and scale fast. Of course, with minimizing growing pains. That's a little frustrating. So we're trying to figure out some ways that we could bring in more business. One of them is definitely through acquisitions. One of them is maybe doing more of this, right?
Yeah, man. You're a natural. You're a natural. I'd watch it.
I'm working on it.
So.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Listen, Danny, thank you very much for coming in. I love doing this. I hope that you start a podcast. I hope that you start doing this because you're just a talker. You keep it smooth. You keep it light.
Sorry.
And there's a ton of no, it's great. It's great. Nothing to be sorry about. And there's a ton of knowledge up there. I think that there's a ton of people that can learn a lot from you.
Appreciate it.
You've done it. You've done it well, and I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in. If someone needs to get in touch with you, how do they do it?
So www.contangoit.com. You can Google me, Danny Mizrahi, Contango IT. It'll come up on LinkedIn. Nothing that crazy. But thank you. I really appreciate being here. My goal is to be around smarter people, so I'm doing it right now, and I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming in, and look forward to having you again.
My pleasure. Thanks, everyone.